How to answer the most common job interview questions. These questions are the ones you are bound to hear at just about any job interview. All of these questions are used to learn more about you, both as a person and as a professional. If you understand what the interviewer is looking for with each of these questions, you will be able to give the right answer and rock that interview. Now we are going to go through the most common job interview questions and sample answers for each. Let's get started. 1. Tell me about yourself. This is usually the first question asked in an interview, so it acts as your introduction. How hard can it be to talk about yourself? We do it on a daily basis without much thought. However, hiring managers are not looking for your whole life story, your third grade achievements, or what you had for dinner last night. Instead, they are looking for a pitch. Make sure your answer is relevant to the position you are applying for. Aim to present yourself as the ideal candidate for the job in a few words. A good rule of thumb is to structure your talking points as follows. Briefly introduce yourself. What is your name? How long have you been working in the field? What do you love about your job? What are your top 2 to 3 skills or achievements that are relevant to the job you are applying for? Now, let us go through some sample answers. Hey, my name is John Asefa, and I have worked as a data encoder for 5+ years in Mesfin Industrial Engineering. I have some background in data analysis, having studied information systems at Makela University. Throughout my career, I have done some pretty impressive stuff, if I do say so myself. For example, at Mesfin Industrial Engineering, I led a project to migrate all operations data to a new data warehousing system to cut down on costs. The new solution was a much better fit for our business, which eventually led to high savings. Still make a stellar introduction. Not bad, right? But if you do not have a lot of work experience, you can still make a stellar introduction. I am Barihu Mahari, a recent college graduate from the University of Addis Ababa. I have just graduated with honors in chemical engineering. I know my way around a lab and have had multiple opportunities to put my knowledge into practice as a chemical research assistant. The lab felt like home, which is why I would love to work as a lab assistant. I am passionate, hardworking, and extremely responsible. I am also looking forward to putting into practice all the things I learned during my time at university. 2. Describe yourself in 3 words. There are tons of different versions of this question, like, what word would you use to describe yourself? And what 5 words would people use to describe you? But the same idea applies to all of them. The interviewer uses this question to test how well you can summarize your key strengths and if you can make a convincing elevator pitch in a few choice words. So make sure to choose words that are positive, relevant to the job, and actually reflect your personality or work ethic. Here are a few examples to inspire you. Sample answer 1, innovative, reliable, and adaptable. I tend to bring creative solutions to any challenge I am up against. I also consistently deliver on my commitments, and I easily adjust to changes, so unfamiliar situations do not faze me at all. Sample answer 2, collaborative, diligent, and enthusiastic. The first is because I thrive in team environments, and I love working with others. Then the next one is because I pay really close attention to the details in my work. It's almost compulsive for me. And I am also, enthusiastic. I have been told I bring positive energy to every project I work on. 3 point, what do you know about this company/organization? A quick search on the company's About page should be enough information, right? Well, yes and no. Think of this as an open-ended question. There is no real wrong answer here except maybe, incorrect example, I do not know anything about this organization. However, the more you actually know about the company, the better your chances of getting hired. Imagine 2 equally competent candidates, one who does not particularly care much about your company and is only applying because they know you pay a good salary? One who has been following your company's blog for ages, loves your product, and has several friends already working at the company? Which one would you pick? The second one, obviously. So, with this job interview question, your goal is to convince the hiring manager that you are the right candidate for their company. Now, how do you do that? Well, a rule of thumb here is to do some research on the company before the interview and learn the following. What does their product or service do? What impact does the product/service have? What is the company's culture like? What is the latest news about the company? How are they performing? And pretty much whatever other type of information you can dig up. Here are some possible answers to this question. Sample answer 1, I hadn't heard about you until recently. Actually, I found out about MAA Garment through your job advertisement on Oscar. After doing some brief research on you guys, I ended up falling in love with your product and your mission. Now, I have worked with a ton of different project management software like MATLAB and Aspen Plus, but none of them were as intuitive as KemCAD. Sample answer 2. Well, I know that you are one of the biggest investment banks in Ethiopia. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia pops up on the news pretty often. And I have read that you have invested in some of the hottest technology and have several up-and-coming executing systems in your banks. I was particularly interested in your recent investment in Startup New System. I found that interesting because I love that system, and it is cool that you are expanding in that direction. For a point, why did you decide to apply for this position? This question is something interviewers ask to see how passionate you are for the role. And no, the answer is not. Incorrect answer. Well, I am very passionate about not starving to death. Nor is it. Incorrect answer. Well, I needed the money, and you guys tend to pay a lot. What the interviewer is looking for here is to see how passionate you are about the job or the company. After all, job performance is directly linked to job satisfaction. The happier you are about your position at the company, the more productive you will be. And here's the kicker. Your enthusiasm will be very evident during the interview. When you're talking to a person who is genuinely interested in something, you can pretty much feel them glow as they talk. And if you are a hiring manager who has interviewed hundreds of people, this will be a good sign to hire the candidate. So, use this knowledge to your advantage. When asked this question, your answer should include 2 things. What exactly motivated you to apply for this position? Why this specific company? Have you heard of them before? Let's look at some sample answers to get the point across. Sample answer 1, I am very passionate about sustainability and renewable energy. In fact, I minored in environmental science at McKell University. I have always wanted to put my engineering degree towards a good cause, and the position as a sustainability coordinator at Masobo Building Material Production is just what I have been looking for. I have been following your company for the past few years, and I love how you are changing the renewable energy material in Ethiopia. Keep in mind, though, that if you do not know much about the company or the position, that is okay too. Just be honest and let your genuine interest in the job shine through. That being said, we always recommend you do your homework before going to an interview. Let's look at an example where the candidate does not know too much about the company. Sample answer 2. I have always wanted to get into marketing. I have done promotional jobs here and there, but I have never had the opportunity to do something more serious. I do think I have just the right skills to get started, though. Copywriting, basic Photoshop, and of course, lots of creativity. So I thought that an internship at Velocity Apparel's companies would be an awesome start to my career in marketing. 5 point, why do you want to work here? This is another great question that the interviewer can use to see how much you know about the company and whether you are genuinely interested in the role. Here, the interviewer wants to see if you have done your research. Do you have any specific reasons for applying? It is crucial to let your enthusiasm shine through and align your answer with the company's values and goals. So avoid generic or self-centered answers like, incorrect answer. I just need a job, and your company seemed okay. Plus, the salary is good. Saying something like that will just tell the interviewer you are not actually interested in the job. You are just a random applicant. We recommend focusing on what attracts you to the company and how you can contribute to its success. Here are a couple of examples of how to
You
answer
mentioned the
this
skills you'd
question.
acquired in your
Sample
previous
answer
role. Could you
1.
explain to
I am
me what
impressed by
skills
your
that you
company's
think are
commitment to
transferable for this role?
sustainability and
Yes, I've got
innovation in the
good
cement
organisational
industry.
skills.
Your recent
I've
project
also
on renewable
assisted
energy
in
actually
organising
aligns
stock
perfectly
orders.
Okay.
with my passion
I've
for
also
environmental
helped out with
conservation.
organising the
I
casual
also
test
think my
orders.
Oh,
skills in
excellent.
software development could contribute to the
Good
waste
communication
heat
skills
recovery
are
for
integral
power
part of this
generation
role, as is
initiatives I
completing
read you are
paperwork
planning.
and various
Sample
bits of
answer
customer
2.
interaction.
Well, your
Can you
company's
demonstrate
reputation for
your written and
fostering
verbal
employee growth
communication skills?
appeals to me a lot.
Yes, I have
I also
a
read
C1
about your
dyslexia
collaborative
language,
work
and
culture,
also to put
and that
my
sounded like a
review
great fit
approximately
for my
80
work
assignments.
style. I saw
In
that
my
you
current role, I
recently
have
expanded into
interacted
some
with
emerging
customers on a daily
markets too,
basis
so
to
that looks like an
understand the
exciting
need for good
opportunity.
communication.
I actually
I
have some
also
experience with
usually have a
international
great appetite to
business,
be treated with
so I think I
Okay.
could help out with that. 6 point. What are your strengths and
Could you give me an
weaknesses?
example of when you've worked as
Everyone
part of
has
a team
strengths and
to achieve a
weaknesses.
particular goal?
That goes without saying. But
Um,
the reason hiring managers use this question is because they want to evaluate your
do you
honesty
want me to
and
repeat the question?
self-awareness. They want to
Mine sound
see
like
if
it's
you
very
can give
struggling
yourself
to
a
think of an
realistic
example.
assessment
Not a
and
problem.
if you are
Thinking
actively
about your current
working on
role,
improving
do you work as
yourself.
part of a team
For
now?
strengths, choose a few
Yes,
qualities
typically it's a
relevant to the
chance.
job and
We
be
all
ready to back
dig
them up
in to
with
get the jobs done that
examples.
we need to,
For
even if
weaknesses,
it
on the other
means
hand,
doing the tasks
focus
that
on
aren't
showing how
necessarily
you are
our thing.
addressing them.
That's great, thank you.
Make sure you avoid any cliche
Have you ever had
answers,
to deal
such
with a
as
difficult
presenting
customer or
strengths
customer
as
complaint?
weaknesses. Incorrect
Yes, there was
answer.
an occasion when
My
I
strength
dealt
is
with a
that I am
difficult
a
customer,
perfectionist, and
which
my
actually put
weakness
in a
is that I
pickle
work
because
too
of the
hard.
amount of time it had taken to get
Something like
through.
that is going to come
I
across as
apologised
insincere,
for it,
and it will not provide
and I
real
explained the reason
insight
why it had
into you as a
taken so
candidate.
long. After I dealt with the customer, I
Instead,
did
be
report to
genuine.
the
Show the
supervisor,
hiring
so that
manager
she
that
could
you are
look at the
self
staffing
aware
levels at peak
and give
points.
them real
Okay, thank
strengths
you.
and weaknesses with your answer.
That sounds great, thank
Here
you.
are a
I
couple
think
of
that's the end of
possible
our questions
answers.
now, but
Sample
afterwards, do you
answer
have any
1.
questions for us?
One of my key
Yes, would I
strengths
be
is
able
my
to have
ability to lead
weekends?
cross functional teams. I am
Yes, as
great at
outlined in the
bringing
purpose
diverse
specification
groups
in the
together
advert,
to
the
achieve a
role
common
requires
goal.
5 days
As for
6 hours
weaknesses,
at
I
work.
sometimes
So obviously
struggle
that
with
doesn't take too
delegating
many days.
tasks.
What
I
we
am
need to do is
addressing
actually
this by
agree those
trying to
days with
consciously
the
empower my
successful
team
candidate.
members. I am
That's
trying to
great, thank
focus
you.
on mentoring them instead of micromanaging. Sample answer 2. I would say my strength lies in my analytical skills. I can quickly interpret data and translate it into actionable insights. My biggest weakness is public speaking, though. I have been trying to work on it by taking a Toastmasters course and volunteering to present more often in team meetings. Learn more about how to answer what are your strengths and weaknesses with our dedicated article. 7 point. What is your greatest strength? Here, you want to strike a balance between what your actual strengths are and what the interviewer wants to hear. Narrow your answer down to 3 strengths at most. Pick 1 or 2 skills that would help you really excel at the job, and 1 or 2 personal skills or traits. Not sure what your strengths are? No worries. Check out the table below to learn what strengths are perfect for your field. Here are some possible answers you can check out. Sample answer 1. My biggest strength is that I'm good at picking up new skills. I have worked a variety of different odd jobs, things like working as a waiter, housekeeper, cook, and a bunch more you have probably seen on my resume. For most of those jobs, I ended up picking up all the needed skills within 1 or 2 weeks, with basically no previous experience. So I am pretty sure that while I do not have any experience as a bartender, I have the right attitude and I'm certain I can get good at it within a week or two. Sample answer 2. My biggest strength is that I am very efficient at working under pressure. No matter the crisis or amount of stress, I can make the right decisions on the spot. As an event manager at Mesfin Industrial Engineering, we were organizing an information technology conference for a client. There were a ton of last-minute dispatch. Some speakers canceled, and the company said they would be late for the lunch break. On top of that, we were understaffed because 2 of our volunteer organizers got sick and could not show up. At that point, things looked so bleak that we were considering canceling the event or postponing it. Instead, I took the initiative in my hands and sorted through the problems one by one. 8 point, what is your greatest weakness? This is always a tricky one. After all, you do not want to highlight your flaws during an interview, so it is guaranteed to be a tough question. The trick to answering this is realizing that the interviewers do not expect you to be perfect. Everyone has flaws, weaknesses, and things they need to improve about themselves. The key here is to mention a weakness that is real, but not something that would get in the way of you doing your job. You would not want to say you are bad at mathematics if you are applying for an accountant position, would you? It is also good practice to mention how you are working towards overcoming your weakness, and that you realize how it affects you negatively. If possible, try to balance it with a positive side effect, like 2 sides of the same coin. Possible answers here might include sample answer 1. My biggest weakness has always been my communication skills. I have always been pretty shy and anxious, even as a kid. Over the years, though, I have been really working on the issue. At this stage, I am much better than I have ever been, but I'm still far from perfect. This, however, won't have any impact on my job as a software developer. Despite lacking communication skills, I am very good at working in a team. Sample answer 2. Well, as a recent graduate, I would say my biggest weakness is the lack of real-life work experience. While I have worked on a dozen software projects at my university, I do not have the experience of working in a fully agile environment with an experienced team. But I am willing to do my best and catch up as fast as I can.